YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Any Double X, man. I am back again on another one, man. Just want to thank you guys for joining in on the live stream. If you were blessed enough to be there with us, it was a great time. But now it's on to the next thing. You know what I mean? So, look, if you are not part of the family, man, subscribe now. Hit that subscribe button, man. Turn on post notifications so you are alerted when we do go live. Now, in this video, this is a special video here, man. This is actually a deep conversation with one of my great friends, man. He's definitely been going through some trials and tribulations, some persecutions. He's a man of God. My guy, man, Street Psalmz, man. I'm not gonna waste any time with this intro. We're just gonna get right into it.
With the beat on, deep conversation talk with Street Psalmz.
And if you speak on stuff like that, about police brutality, or speaking on the condition of our people, or the behavior of our people, the things that they're doing, because there's a lot of situations that our people put themselves into that makes the situation a lot worse, And I'll give you an example. It's a scripture that says that we're supposed to agree with thine adversary. And that means that if we ever get ourselves into a situation where we're being interrogated or come to a situation with a police officer, you're not supposed to get all rah-rah and rowdy. You're supposed to, be calm, cool, be respectful, so you can make it out the situation alive.
Right.
And a lot of our people, they don't do that. They just automatically go from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
And that could put them in a situation where they can get put to death.
Yeah.
Because, they're not being circumspect. We're in our, what you would call, captivity, because here in America, this is really not our rest. It's not our homeland. Mm-hmm. And we were here in the holds of cargo slave ships. So the children of our oppressors are still ruling. So when we're encountering situations like that, we have to be circumspect. We have to be smart, and we have to be, what you would call, as the scripture say, you gotta, render to Caesar what is Caesar.
Okay.
So you have to, get along in the society, but we know that ultimately this society is have destroyed us as a people, and we're not supposed to fit in the society because we weren't meant to fit in. So, for the most part, I go out and I speak, and from there, I started noticing, this weird stuff, because I consider myself to be out in the community speaking, and talking about the Bible and giving me a biblical prophecy.
That's amazing, bro. That's amazing, man. I commend you for that, man. A lot of people ain't that passionate about getting God's word out here,
Yeah, I mean, I give all praise and glory to Yahweh, because it's a spirit that's behind doing it, and being able to do it consistently. And it's something that I have to pray for daily, to have that to have the oil to keep going forward, to keep, especially last days, and you can see me white doing my nose. All of a sudden, my nose is itching real bad. So
that's okay, man. We're gonna push through, man.
Yeah. So I don't know what that's all about. I can imagine, but maybe it's my allergies. I don't know.
You want to blow your nose real quick, man?
It just itches for some reason.
Maybe you're up to something good, man. There's something special, man, happening right now.
Right. So, so it's one of the things that I continue to pray for is the endurance. And so one thing I noticed that ever since I began speaking and making videos and you know, doing what you call sit down sessions,
Right.
going out speaking to people. I've noticed throughout that time I would have what you would call interference with a lot of my cameras. Malfunctions. Like I probably have a mound of cameras that just fizzled out on me.
Yeah. I know the feeling, man.
Phones, and I knew something was strange about it.
Okay.
But I couldn't put my finger on it.
Okay.
And as time progressed, I'll back it up a little bit.
Okay.
Actually, the thing that happened, I was with a group, a church, and we decided to flee and go to what you would call we were fleeing Babylon, which America's Babylon in the scriptures.
Okay.
So we under the impression that it would be what you would call a pestilence that would wipe out a lot of the people, which was during the swine flu epidemic. Left, went over to Egypt. I was over there for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
And it wasn't, you know, it was a what you call a spiritual experience, but it wasn't the right spirit.
Okay.
But it wasn't the right spirit of leaving and leaving in haste. So I was there for about 3 weeks, and then I came back to the States, totally you know, broken because I had sold everything and had departed from my wife and left my 1-year-old son, which I, you know, have to always think about that with regret the way that it happened, you know, and I went with me, but I'm so glad you didn't, because we would have sold everything and then had nothing. And you know what I'm saying? And you know, that wouldn't have been you know, smart, you know, because the Bible definitely tells us to use wisdom, and that wasn't using wisdom,
right?
And that, you know, wasn't scripture. And so from there, coming back, I was broken and dealing with a lot of health issues.
Okay.
And then from there, I was experiencing this strange stuff, you know, and that about the time where I started having issues with my cameras and this strange stuff. And I had this is some years later, I had a recording studio in Midtown Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
Doing a podcast.
Oh, okay. Good deal, man.
I wanted to do an internet radio show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was scheduled to go live.
Okay.
And I had ordered what you would call internet, the internet, and for some reason, I had issues with loading, or I had issues with getting my internet set up.
Okay.
Where it literally took a year for them to set up internet. That internet was already in the building.
Wow.
It was strange. Strange stuff like that happening.
Wow.
And so I was asking the people in the building, well, why am I the only one without internet and everybody in the building had internet?
Okay.
And so it was, and this was like during my first show. It was like the premiere of my show, and they were supposed to have some internet. And all of a sudden, I didn't have internet. It was a wireless car, you know, version of live.
Let them not populate the earth. Make them
All right, we are back in the building. I got my guy Street Psalmz in the building, man. If you guys don't know who this guy is, man, he is definitely a man of God. He is going through some things. The link to his channel will be in the description. It's just a pleasure and an honor to have you here with us, Streets, man. Is there anything else that you wanted to dive into talking about right now?
Yeah, well, likewise, brother. I appreciate it so much.
Man, we appreciate you being with us today, man.
Thank you so much. What I wanted to continue speaking on, we had a little bit of interference, and coming from my phone, I have a lot of issues, like I said, with my cell phone, with my computer. So, good equipment destroyed behind what I believe that are the powers that be that are controlling a lot of the things that we're dealing with. So to bring it back up to speed for us to having business that I had, the internet radio show, and the internet radio show was the truth, putting law, statutes, and Most High God to the prophecies, bringing up current and with the prophecies, the events in the Bible, and then also the what you would call the paranormal aspect of it, like the unknown beasts that are written of in the scriptures, consider, like strange people have seen throughout the century. So it was just various topics. But it really got off the ground because I had so much interference. And like I said, during that time, I was still going out and preaching, and that's where that's where the name of my channel, my YouTube channel, is called Street. Kind of represents me out on the street and bringing the song to the whole Bible. And so so during that time, of having my things just took a downhill. I really did it up around, and there I tried to do other things. I tried to sell clothes, and I tried to do the eBay thing, and nothing really. And from there, bringing it back up to speed, which I was in 2017, I started to have what you call health problems. And it happened instantly. I mean, I remember the day I was coming back from the lesson of music lesson that I was teaching older guy at a retirement community, and all of a sudden I just felt like my heart was racing. I just felt a little nervous. I had called my wife and told her that I felt kind of distraught because I was I had a situation that happened in the building where I was kind of like confused. And I was I don't want to say lost, but what happened was I was so stressed out, I was distraught, and I end up going to someone else's. Like I turned the knob and opened the door. I opened and I looked up. I thought it was downstairs. I thought it was the downstairs exit, and it was somebody's. And I was like, "Oh man," I was like nervous. I'm a black man in a building, and I'm thinking, man, they think I'm trying to rob somebody or something. And so I closed the door, and I had my guitar in my hand and my bag, and I downstairs, and I called my wife and I told her what happened. I was like, I don't know, I just got confused. I wasn't thinking, I wasn't looking, and I was just preoccupied. And I was like, damn, you probably think I'm trying to, build it, because I'm like, that's growing, like how black being mistreated and blamed for. Down, everything is not a big deal or whatever like that. So I was sitting in my car, gas, and I was just totally stressed out. And I and I was, it says I was dealing with a little deprivation that was happening about the way back to the city. They
whoa.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like real nervous, and they like stroke cold, and they like running around and hooking me up to everything, and my BP is just rising. Bro, it's like it's going up. I mean, like I'm just like nervous, and I had like gave it to the Most High. I'm like, if this is it, Most High, I mean, I can't do nothing. This is it. I had to like submit, because it was too much for me.
Okay.
And so they had me, had the machine hooked up to me, and they took me to not the EKG, the MRI room.
Okay.
To check if I had a stroke.
Okay.
And they needed to check my brain.
Okay.
And so they did that, and they didn't find nothing, but then they said that you had a possible TIA, which is like a mini stroke.
Really?
They said that. So I'm like, pericarditis the day before. Now I got a mini stroke.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm like really going through it, like, and so he's like, well, we're gonna put you on some cholesterol medicine, because your cholesterol wasn't bad, but because someone in your condition, we don't want you to have high cholesterol. So they gave me like Lipitor, and I took it that time because he gave it to me.
Okay.
And what happened was, because they thought I had a stroke, they kept me for a couple days, and I take blood pressure medicine. And what happened was, because if you have, as they describe, if you have a stroke, if your blood pressure is low, it could do more damage. So they didn't give me my blood pressure pills. So all while I'm in the hospital, my blood pressure is up from the stress, and I'm like nauseous, I'm sick, my head is spinning, but they didn't give me. So my blood pressure was real high, and I'm like, and I'm thinking, oh, shit, I wonder if they, excuse my French, I'm wondering if they probably try to kill me.
Right.
I don't know that, but I just know that I just thought it was real weird.
It is.
Trying to raise my blood pressure up like that, but I guess that's what they do. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Right.
So and through the Spirit of the Lord, I was able to survive the ordeal. They had me run on the EKG machine and so forth, the stress test, and they did all kind of stuff. So, mind you, I'm still having the pain in my chest, and thing going on. So the next day, they released me. I go home. I still got the pain in my chest. It still hurts so bad.
Okay.
I'm still called heart palpitation. So I go again. Anyway, to make a long story short, I was in and out of the hospital. They gave me like a diagnosis of pleurisy, and then eventually gastritis. And this was about 7 or 8 visits.
Okay.
So pills and no answers, and all the while I'm like, I'm thinking in my mind because I was thinking about different situations. I'm like, I wonder if I'm targeted.
Mm.
And for some reason, it's like, I don't know. It's the spirit of the Lord because I don't know. I mean, I've read a little bit on it,
Okay.
but I started really having suspicions. Maybe I'm targeted.
Okay.
And I don't remember exactly like how it became like so apparent so early on. Maybe because I knew about the electronic harassment, but I started doing some research and started finding out that a lot of the symptoms that people were having. And so afterwards, after all these hospital visits, I'm trying to be on the mend. I'm at the house and taking it easy, taking it real slow. And then all of a sudden, I took like a little family vacation trip to just chill out. We went to, little area, in Missouri where they have like a little resort, which is near the mountains or the foothills in Missouri.
Okay.
So it was a nice trip, nice little family visit. And when I came back, I started noticing like strange stuff going on, like with people, around me.
Okay.
Like, and so I started to feel like I was being followed. And so I had a situation where there was a guy across the street from my house. He had a backpack.
Okay.
And I know pretty much people with them. Try to be observant.
Did you know the guy?
No, I'd never seen him before, but he was across the street. He just looked out of place.
Okay.
He had a backpack, and I'm on a block where it's a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So he was near I'm down the hill on the corner, but when I look up the street, cul-de-sac he's standing there, he's messing with his cell phone, punching it, doing all kind of stuff. And he got like a big backpack. So he was there for about an hour. I ended up leaving. I had to go somewhere with the kids.
Okay.
Back and he was still there.
Wow.
It was so suspicious. I was like, something's up with that.
Okay.
And I was like, he just stood out. And then a little bit, maybe like a week later, I was down the street and it was this dude in a Jeep, Jeep with, it was red.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't have a cover on it. And it was strange. The guy, he had a goatee. He had a long goatee with like, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was like green or something like that. He looked like grungy, like.
Wow.
And he had a real sick look in his face, like sinister, like kind of like, because what happened was I had made a left turn. Okay. He had made a turn. And then he did a loop right in the middle of the street to follow me.
Wow.
And when he followed me, instead of just,
man, that's crazy.
Instead of using my instincts and maybe going a few blocks, I made a right and then I pulled in my driveway and he made a right and drove past. And he was messing with his phone. Messing with his phone.
Wow.
So those were my two indications that I was being followed.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so from there, it just started to go, downhill in regards to the stalking. I started to notice more and more that I was being followed.
Okay.
And I started to realize that I was pretty much what you would describe as being targeted. During that time, I was still having the burning sensation in my. It went from that pain in my chest to like a burning sensation, like my chest was burning, my back was burning, my arms was burning.
Man. Now, was you experiencing this burning? Was it inside your house, or was it wherever you were? Like you felt this?
Where I went, it was everywhere I went.
Okay.
It wasn't just the house. I think maybe I probably noticed it more inside, my house, but I wasn't able to escape, that burning sensation.
Okay.
It started with the burning sensation, the arms going numb, the legs going numb. That happened for a few months.
Okay. Where
it was just more so I was, I knew something was wrong. I was like, yeah, I think I'm being electronically harassed.
Surround sound recordings.
Now I'm feeling empty. Why is everyone against me? Feeling like they're rolling with me. Perpetrators out to get me.